Hello you beautiful misfits, my name is Matt and this is Pixelburn, where I take a snarky look at some of the more important, interesting or irritating things to have happened in the week's gaming news. Of which there's actually some to report, for no sooner have we successfully transitioned from the bleak frozen news tundra of January to the more forageable temperate climes of February, we get a big sweet succulent delicious chunk of it in the form of more free Hollow Knight DLC! Yes! Called Gods and Glory, this will be the third and presumably final free content update for the game. Yes, if you own the base game, you get this completely for free, just like the previous two updates. No button clicks or purchases required, it's yours. Completely gratis. No money required. No se requiere dinero. Kein Geld benötigt. Past Dargant Requis. Have I mentioned Hollow Knight was one of my top games of 2017? For more reasons than just cool free stuff? Alright, enough for me fawning all over Team Cherry and showering them with love and praise, even though they really do deserve it. What is this update going to give us for our $0.00 or regional equivalent? Well, for starters, much like the previous Grim Troop update, this one comes with a new quest and all the associated lore that I just can't get enough of. Sweet, succulent, juicy, delicious lore. Involving a new character called the Godseeker, described in Team Cherry's official announcement as a disturbing yet alluring being whom you must free before you can aid her in her sacred duty, and woo her like no Hallow Nest bug has ever been wooed before, if this casual throwaway comment wrapped up snugly inside a pair of brackets is anything to go by. Nice of Team Cherry to throw in a rebound option for all the poor schmucks who got their hearts broken by blushing Bretta here after she falls head over thorax for Zote the Mighty, the insufferable prick. And who didn't have the will or drive to repeatedly invade her dreams over and over again to murder an increasingly difficult succession of idealised dream representations of Zote within her subconscious, every hard-fought victory soiling her perception of him further and further until, finally, all the affection and adoration she once had for him has been slashed to ephemeral ribbons, wafting towards annihilation upon the sepulchral winds of Aneros, whereupon she realises there's nothing left for her in the village of Dirtmouth and she disappears over the mountains, never to be seen again, although it's safe to assume she dies, cold, terrified, and alone. But only a complete monster would do something like that, of course. Besides, as nice as it is to have choice, I don't need another romance option. There's only one little cute as a button bug in all of Hallow Nest that has my heart. Had. Why did you have to die, Mila? Why? 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 Along with that, the Gods and Glory update will also bring even more boss fights, a way to beef up your ability charms, new music from the fantastically talented Christopher Larkin, and a new game mode that has, to quote Team Cherry, been long requested and is a classic for the genre. It's going to be a New Game Plus mode. Honestly, go to any Hollow Knight fan forum or subreddit, type New Game Plus into the search bar and you'll fall down a rabbit hole so deep you'll shoot right past Wonderland and straight into the waiting jaws of a grue. If it was a real hole in your garden and you fell into it like a pillock. I'm personally not too fussed about a New Game Plus mode myself and never really cared that Hollow Knight didn't have one. At this point, however, I'm craving it just to shut up all the people who've been clamouring for one since the original Kickstarter. And I won't have much longer to wait, thankfully, since Gods and Glory will be out sometime in the first quarter of this year. What won't be out in the first quarter, or indeed the first half of this year, however, is Red Dead Redemption 2. Contrary to the trailer Rockstar put out in September 2017, suggesting a spring 2018 release date, and even more contrary to the very first trailer from over a year back, teasing a fall 2017 release that of course never happened, Red Dead Redemption 2 now won't be out before October this year. October 23rd to be precise, because this announcement has at least given us a solid date to go on. As well as the specific month other publishers may as well tear out of their calendars, douse in petrol and ritually burn in the company car park in front of their entire marketing department. Because heaven help anyone ballsy or dumb enough to try and put a game out against Red Dead 2 that month. Unless the game you're releasing is exclusive to the PC or Switch. Or your Nintendo. According to Rockstar themselves, the reason for this delay is simply that they require a little extra time for polish. Probably not a bad idea given some of the freaky weird glitches that afflicted the first one, But then Red Dead Redemption 1's development process was described by former Rockstar San Diego employees as an organic disaster of the most epic proportions. Anyhow, by way of apology, Rockstar also posted these spiffy new screenshots you can see here, which was nice of them. Although you know what would be nicer? Any acknowledgement whatsoever of a PC version, because this news only covers the PS4 and Xbox One versions of Red Dead 2. I'm not even requesting a definite release date. I'm currently working on the assumption I'll have to wait at least an extra year. Just something, anything would be appreciated. Official confirmation that a PC version's in the works, even though we all know it blatantly is, would be a start. Maybe even some minimum system specs? Oh well, all things in the due course of time, I suppose. It's not like I won't have plenty of other games to play in the meantime. I can wait. Speaking of games that are already out, it's been a good old time recently for both Monster Hunter World and Dragon Ball FighterZ. Yes, Fighters, as though the Z at the end is an S. That's the official pronunciation of it according to Banana Damco. But I digress. It's certainly been a good old time for both these games in the UK, where they took the #1 and #2 spots respectively in the most recent sales charts. Especially good times in fact for Monster Hunter World. According to UK-based music, film and software sales monitoring company GfK Chart Track, not the most thrilling of names admittedly, not only has it claimed the top spot in the charts, but Monster Hunter World's Week 1 sales in the UK have eclipsed the Week 1 sales for all previous Monster Hunter games. Not combined of course, that would be stupid, but it has sold far higher, according to GfK Chart Track, than even the previous record holder, that being Monster Hunter Generations on the 3DS. Capcom themselves meanwhile are reporting that the game has shipped almost 5 million units worldwide, including digital sales. Now we all know units shipped generally means shipped to retailers and not units sold directly to people like what you and I is, but this is still very good news for a series that, let's be honest, has been rather a niche thing here in the West. Now calm down Monster Hunter fans, I'm not saying your devotion to the series is wanting, far from it, but there's really not that many of you compared to the fan bases for other titles, is there? Which makes Monster Hunter World's success all the more admirable, although the way it supposedly made an effort to be less impenetrable towards newcomers to the series might have had something to do with it. Coming out during a generally dry time for video game releases no doubt also helped, as did being released on two of the biggest platforms, PS4 and Xbox One, with the PC release expected sometime in the latter part of this year. Probably around October by my guess, and I'm looking forward to it, if a teensy bit hesitantly. For all the good things I've been hearing about Monster Hunter World that have got me intrigued with it, can't be sure it's a game that will click with me, you know? It has to have that one special thing that will resonate with me personally, you know, that X factor, that certain je ne sais quoi so very special about her. Day one purchase. We're going to hunt monsters, aren't we? Yes, we are, little Mim. Second on the UK top 10 list for the week was Dragon Ball FighterZ from BlazBlue, Guilty Gear and Persona 4 Arena developers Arc System Works, or ArcSys for short, who also own the rights to Double Dragon. You might not have known that. I didn't before writing this. You learn something new every day, don't you? I was initially rather dismissive of Dragon Ball FighterZ because it's Dragon Ball, and I've been dismissive of all things Dragon Ball since, 11:05 on January the 8th, 1994. But I was taken by enough idle curiosity to watch this video by Giant Bomb about the game, which is when something weird happened. Because the more Dragon Ball FighterZ footage I watched and curiously enjoyed, the more I began to feel this strange, disturbing, almost nauseating urge to watch Dragon Ball. And there were no magic pills I could take to get rid of it. However, I wasn't willing to sit through two characters continuously yelling at each other and charging their ki for 10 consecutive hours at a time in between anything actually happening. Repeatedly. So I watched the abridged version of Dragon Ball Z by Team 4-Star instead.
I need an adult.
I am an adult.
Which gave me a basic enough understanding to finally make sense of Dragon Ball wikis, something that had previously defied all my attempts to comprehend. What the fuck is a margin, boo? Then once I got through all of that, I went and bought the game. It's really fun. And I'm completely shit at fighting games. So much stupid over-the-top fun. I mean, it's got tactics, meta, tech, and other random fighting game terms I'm just going to throw in like I know what the hell I'm talking about. But it's also really accessible to people like me who just want to see and do cool shit on the screen. Certainly more accessible than BlazBlue Calamity Trigger, which I picked up dirt cheap on Steam a while back, but just couldn't wrap my feeble old man brain around. In Dragon Ball FighterZ, the overwhelming majority of all the special moves are quarter circle, stick or pad movements and a button press. For every character, whether it's Yamcha, Krillin, Tien, Goku or blue-haired Goku, I assume. I haven't unlocked him yet. That's it. None of that press, light kick and medium punch while simultaneously cutting a lamb's throat malarkey. No move the stick in a Mobius motion through non-Euclidean directions that human beings cannot even physically turn to, let alone discern with their own eyes. Then press light punch. If you could throw a fireball with Ryu in Street Fighter, you can pull off about 90% of the special moves in Dragon Ball FighterZ. Probably even all of them. Meanwhile, the auto combo function lets you literally just hammer one of the attack buttons to do something that looks cool. Okay, so it's inferior to manual combos and you'll get owned online if you keep trying it there. But it looks cool and feels fun. And that's all I care about. So I'll be playing some more as soon as I'm done with this video. Which is pretty much now. Sorry there were no industry-shaking conspiracies or grand exposés this week, but that's the way things go. Sometimes there's more good than bad, and it feels nice to cover mostly pleasant, positive, or otherwise not despair-inducing stuff occasionally. Not every episode has to be about scandals, rip-offs, or EA doing something that leaves a bad taste in your... Oh, you absolute spunk mongers. Nope, not touching it. Not gonna let those swines harsh my buzz. I'm going to play more Dragon Ball FighterZ, and there's nothing those money-grabbing replicant bastards can do to stop me. I'm out. I'm done. Kamehame fucking ha. That's all for this episode of Pixel Burn. If you liked it, please do let me know by clicking the requisite button down below, and let your friends, your family, and the average Saiyan warrior know as well. At the very least, I hope you found it tolerable. Meanwhile, till next time, as always, you can erect a statue in my honor.